Hello. How's it
What's up,
going?
man? This is good. Made my
It's
work
going.
day, but it's good.
Okay.
How
Good, good,
about
good.
you?
Good to see you.
Oh yeah, likewise, man.
Yeah,
Likewise.
totally. All right. It looks like we missed a week, and that was my bad because as we were recording our last episode of our accountability club, my camera in the middle of it literally just died. And I don't know what happened. I think the Zoom didn't update, and all of a sudden, literally in the middle of the recording, it freaked out and the camera wouldn't work anymore. So we tried to fix it, and finally we fixed it. I think there was an update, but then I had to do another switch on my camera. So anyway, apologies for that, but that is on me for my technical difficulties. But we are back and back where we left off from our last assignment from our second episode of Accountability Club. So
Yep.
here we go. So how was your week, or 2 weeks in this case?
It was good. Like first of all, like it was good. I was just like hella busy with work
Yeah,
and music and all that, and I got some stuff done, and then I ended up creating something else new, like out of thin air.
nice.
Um, it just comes with the territory, right?
Right. The
So yeah,
muse decided to knock on your door.
for real, man. It came knocking hard too because
Really?
I tried to like focus on this. I just kept hearing this. I'm like, all right, let me just do it
Right.
and morph this to something like new. So
Got it. All
yeah.
right, cool.
How
Nice.
about you, man? How was your?
Yeah, I'm actually, without taking too much time, these last 2 weeks have been very trying. I have a family member who unfortunately fell very ill. And so there was a little bit of the surprise on that. That took us back quite a bit. So we've been dealing with that. So we're hoping that he pulls through and does well. And we're all, here thinking about him and worried and everything like that, but trying to stay positive, of course. So that was that. In addition to what I've done, with my homework and all the other stuff, I did actually go to Idaho this last weekend and shot a wedding. Helped a buddy, Steve. My buddy Steve helped him shoot a wedding. So I was out in Idaho, Spokane area. So that was cool because it was really nice. It was very pretty warm, actually, pretty warm, but beautiful, really, really beautiful. And we had a great time. And yeah, so I just got back yesterday. Yeah, just last night. So yeah.
Nice, nice.
So now I'm back in my element, right? I'm back here in the studio, and then hopefully gonna pick up where we left off and everything. So
Yeah. Of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. Awesome, pal. So okay, so let's get started. Let us do our question of the day. How do you think? Shall we do that?
Sure.
All right. Who went first last time? I can't remember.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. So you were gonna go first this time.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first this time. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So here's my question of the week for you.
Okay.
Sure. So as our viewers might or might not know, we both attended Berklee College of Music out in Boston. We weren't there at the same time, but we're just a couple years apart from one another. So my question is, well, first let me ask you a pre-question. How many years were you actually there at Berklee?
I was there for 2.5 years in a master's program.
Okay.
And I actually took half of my stint was on campus, the other half was remote. So usually Berkeley online and things like that. So I was there
Oh,
roughly
really?
about 2.5 years. Yeah. This is back when they first started the ability of going through your master's program with Berkeley Online, because previously you wasn't allowed to do that. You had to be on campus.
Right, I remember that. Yeah, which
Yeah,
was
and I
more
was
my
really upset about that. I was like, oh, I want to do it, but then, I was right at the beginning when they started to allow you to do it, and with my degree, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go. So I was there for like 2.5 years.
So when you were doing the online, were you in Boston?
No, I was actually here. I actually flew back and forth. So
Oh, interesting.
it was really trying. It was really to the point to where it's like I was in the air a lot, going back and forth to Boston, because you have performances, you have labs you have to do.
Right.
Especially when it came to like doing finals, like when you have a degree in film composing,
Hmm.
it's like, it's not just you have to present, the composition. I had a period where I had to do a performance to where it's like I had to have stuff played. It's almost like I felt like I was doing a thesis for a doctorate because a thesis you have to defend your
point of view, right?
Right? Yeah. Right. I thought that I was doing that for a thesis, right? Because I had to go and I had to have use the actual in-house orchestra, and students were able to. It was kind of cool because there were some students that were able to use their performance within my actual compositions for their things that they had to do. So I kind of was able to.
That's cool.
Work that, you know what I mean? So it was trying, but I was in the air a lot going back and forth to campus.
Interesting. And just out of curiosity, and again, this is not the question yet, but where were you staying in Boston? I've never asked you that.
Well, we had some friends that actually stayed right outside of Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like family friends because to be able to get housing out there at the same time while I'm doing that was virtually impossible. So I had to know people there in order to stay there, right? In order to go back and forth with Berklee Online.
So you were outside, like in Framingham or
yeah, it was right there in Framingham. Yeah.
Framingham. Oh wow, I nailed it. Wow, that's it. Okay.
See, you're my brother for a reason, man. It's like, this is what it is.
Totally. Okay, so here's the question.
Oh, God.
So in your time at Berklee, do you feel that, how can I put it, benefited you to what you're doing today musically?
Yes.
Okay, how so?
I say yes because, so little story, like my background literally musically is classical music, right? I have a classical background because I started with piano and I moved to cello and I know all that, as a kid. So going to Berklee, it literally reinforced the structure of a song as far as the theories behind it, as far as actually composing music to where it's supposed to be written, right? Because as a producer, as a songwriter, especially the way things are easy now, you can have gear here at home and do basically anything you want, right? But without the actual structure and the discipline behind it, it's really hard to say that. In my mind, it's really hard for anyone to say that they're an actual songwriter or a producer, right? Because if you don't have that discipline, it's how can someone actually say that they are? Right. So Berklee taught me the discipline aspect big time.
Okay.
Right. As far as deadlines, getting stuff done, the structure, performances, how to be in the studio, because I had to even go through the production side, learning Pro Tools. That's where I literally got my digging really deep into Pro Tools was at Berklee.
So you learned Pro Tools at Berklee?
Yeah, I seen it beforehand with Pro Tools 5, but I didn't truly fully dive into it until I got to Berklee.
Got it.
From setting up, sessions, the beat detective, really honing my skills in there. And that's when I really learned that this DAW is just what, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it taught me a lot. It taught me about compressions because an average person who does home studios, they don't know jack really about compression and what a compressor really does, right? Or what a limiter really does. Hearing the inverted sound, because I don't know if you've seen it in studios when you were there. They had the ability, they had these special plugins that you and I may use, right? But they had a plugin where you can invert it to where you can hear the compression you can hear the sound that's being compressed, not just the end result of the compression, right? So they can hit a button and you can flip it and you can hear exactly what's going on in the background. And that taught me a lot to see, okay, this is what's going on.
Like A-B.
Yeah, it's like an A-B type thing, right? But except the B side was like a hissing or you could hear the compression in the music, right? And you can hear so there's some plugins that can do it now, like a de-esser.
Right.
You load up a de-esser, right? And then you invert it in the de-esser, you can hear the difference. So you can hear just the highs. right?
You can hear what it's taking out.
Exactly, right?
Right.
But I was able to hear the actual compression noise that's being used to actually squash the sound, right? And that really taught me how to compress correctly, how to use limiters, how to use expanders, right? So it's that really taught me the difference between all of that.
Nice.
So yeah, Berklee really did pay off.
Okay.
In doing this.
Got it. Cool. Nice. All right. I love it. Cool. All right, Senor. Your turn.
So, as we talked about how I start, starting a song from start to from the songwriting, producing or what have you, to the recording and posing, all the whole thing to get a whole song done. What is your process on how you get started? If you're starting the song from scratch, right? How do you get started in your workflow?
So are we talking the writing process or the production process?
So we're talking about the writing process, right? So when you have an idea, a song in your head, how do you put it to paper, or how do you make that song come out? What is your workflow behind it?
Okay, so if I'm trying to write a song with lyrics, that it's sung sort of a thing, that might be a different approach to if I'm doing an orchestral thing or a soundscape.
Oh yeah, of course.
Or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So did you want to know about one or the other? Or
I want to know about the song.
The song, okay.
Yeah.
So the song, typically, once I have the idea for a song. So to get the idea, I used to, back in the day, I used to carry a little notepad with me. And I was taught, I don't remember who taught me this, but I might have gotten it out of a book or something like that. I don't remember. But I would train myself to eavesdrop on conversations. And I actually did this a lot in Boston when I was at Berklee, because I would ride the T everywhere, right? And you're sitting next to all these people and you would hear a conversation, sort of a thing. So it was really, really interesting. So anyway, you get the idea. It's oh, that'd be kind of a cool idea for the song or whatever. So once I've got the idea, I might actually get the title. That's probably my next thing, is the title. And I think a title is extremely important, super, super important on a song, on whether people are going to want to listen to it, on how successful it actually does become. The title, I think, is a lot. Okay, so once you've got a really good, solid title, then you probably take that title and go, okay, I just start breaking out ideas, almost like an outline, sort of a situation for how my lyrics are going to go, how the story of the song is going to go. When I songwrite, I really a lot of my songwriting heroes back in the day, Billy Joel, Sting, Tori Amos, Cole Porter. These are my heroes when it comes to songwriting. I really, really love these guys. So those were my heroes, right? And the way that they kind of formulated their structure of the story, of the lyric, was kind of in story form, if you would. And I kind of took that approach in a lot of my songwriting at the day, and I still kind of do, because I personally believe that the songs that last, the songs that are timeless, that might have been written 50, 60, 70, 20, 30 years ago, a lot of them are based in a story format. So of course I want to write my songs, and of course people would want their songs to last, and people love them and everything like that. But I've tried to do everything to ensure that, right? So I'll go ahead and do that. And sometimes when you're really lucky, the lyric will come to you immediately. Sometimes the best songs almost write themselves. It's really, really bizarre how that happens. There's this one song that I wrote that was called Just Drunk Enough, that I just produced not too long ago. And that whole lyric, literally the whole entire lyric, came to me on a walk. I went out walking, because I do a lot of running and walking. And it literally came up, and I literally had to step off, and I'm there writing everything, because I'm oh, it's flowing, right? And I wrote it all on my phone. And by the time I got back to the house, I'm like, I made some tweaks and I'm like, oh, I really like that lyric, right?
Yeah.
So that's lyrically. Then musically, you know, I probably come up with a chord progression. And I always try to come up with a chord progression that is unique, that someone's going to recognize, that someone that it, you know, I mean, there is tried and true, you know, the 1-4-5-1 sort of a situation and some other ones, and they're all wonderful and they're all great. But I do try to go a little bit beyond and maybe do like a 1 to a, you know, flat 7. Or like a 1 to, or even a minor 1 to, let's say, a major, you know, a 4, you know, sort of a situation. So something that still works, but that is a little bit unique. That it's like, oh, you don't really hear that, and that hopefully will then launch me into creating a unique melody based off of that chord progression, sort of a thing. And then we go into the melody and try to match the lyric that I've already done to the melody that's coming off of this chord progression. It's really like it's a little bit of a juggling act.
It's a dance almost.
It really, really is. It's almost like balancing chemistry, you know, because okay, this lyric might have a, you know, an extra syllable or two that I can't really use in this melody that I've created. So do I change the melody a little bit to fit the story? Or can I adjust the lyric a little bit? Maybe one word that might be better to adjust the melody. That all lands on the foundation of the chord progression, and then and then the chord progression reflects the structure of the song that I've created. You know, am I doing A, Am I doing verse, chorus, bridge? So it really also depends on you know, the structure, the song form, right? That I'm going to be using for this particular song. So, you know, I pick and choose. It's like cooking. You know, it's like, okay, what kind of spice am I going to put in this sauce? You know, I'll put this, or whatever like that. So it really can be, it's every song is a little unique, but generally speaking, that's how I probably approach my songwriting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, it's weird because I'm the opposite. Like usually the music comes first, and then I let the music hit me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And all of a sudden, there's something there. So yeah.
So you do the music first, and then the lyric or the story comes after.
Yeah. It really, because I can have some type of whatever idea that's going on, right? It's that the only thing that was different was Rise, right? That's just a different animal in itself. But typically,
wait, so sorry, I didn't hear that. What was
like typically like Rise, that my last song.
Rise, got it.
Rise was just that the words came first, and I wrote around that. But typically with me, it's music, and it depends on how the music sounds and what it feels. Then I write to the actual music itself, and then as I create the lyrics for that, then the music can change to fit the lyrics.
Right.
More.
Exactly.
So, so I get that.
And what I found also in my songwriting journey is that, okay, once you've figured out like that process I just explained, it's like once you've kind of got that down, then you might want to look into another process. You know, okay, and I've done that where I have this bass line, so it's like boom, 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 boom. You know, and it's like, oh, okay, that's a cool groovy bass line, and that's where you start. So you have that, maybe a little, you know, drum or whatever, and then maybe a chord, like you started with the music, right? So it's good for songwriters to approach songwriting in different ways because you never know where the song's going to come from. You never know what the idea is that's going to spark it, right? Another funny story. Do you remember the music store Goodman Music in LA? Yeah. Okay, this was a while back, right?
Yeah.
So, funny story on songwriting. So one day I'm in near Universal Studios, Universal City. And I went to Goodman Music, which I think was right there in Cahuenga.
That was my spot. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I went in there one day and I'm just looking around, checking it out or whatever. And, you know, the I think the, the cool roll-in, workstations were there or whatever. And I'm there screwing around. And then I'm screwing around on one of the pianos, and I literally come up with this little melody thing, this little, just little dun dun dun, 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 dun or whatever like that, right? And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. And I kept playing it over and over. And then when I got home, I played it again, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Okay, I really like that little riff. It's like a little piano riff, right? And I know this sounds nuts, okay? But 12 years later, I finished that song off of that one little riff. And that song was We Always Come Home.
Yeah.
Okay, which is just piano, vocal, and cello sort of a thing. And it took me 12 years to do, and it was challenging. But again, the process and the journey, you don't know if you're going to write a song in 5-10 minutes or 5-10 years, or in this case 12. Yeah. But from there, it was just that little piano riff that came from it, and this beautiful dark story song came out of that as well. So again, you just never.
Yeah, I feel you. Dude, because something similar happened to me, because I used to always go to San Mash, because when I was living in Long Beach, I used to go to San Mash over in Cerritos. And this is before I can afford all this gear, and this is well before Berklee. Right. And I remember walking into San Mash, and there was a motif 61. No, it was a motif 6 there, but it's a 61 key.
Right.
And I remember just sitting down there and just creating like this track, the drums, everything. And I created a full track, like using the sequencer. And that right there, I think that was when I figured out myself that I was cut out to do this.
Nice.
Because I went to San Mash just to get some drumsticks, right? Because I used to play drums at my old church like forever ago.
Right.
But I sat down at the motif and I was playing it, and I created like a whole, we're talking a full on 16 bar track. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I need to be doing.
Nice.
And I made sure I turned it off and turned it back on to delete my track out of it. I would have been so sad if years later I would have heard it on the radio somewhere.
Oh man.
Because someone came behind me and saved it to a memory card, and yeah.
I would have been like, I need to buy this keyboard right now. No, this.
No, I want this one right here. Give me the floor
right here. No one touch it. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember those days. That was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, San Mash I wasn't allowed in without adult supervision, because I would just come out with all. I'm still not allowed in enough stores, so yeah, I'll come out we got to make the carpet. Oh yeah, about that.
Yep. Yeah. I hear that. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so let's get to our homework.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with you. So I think we have 3 things from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go over those 3 things. The vocal for Why I Love You, the vocal for As the Music Plays, and the vocal for Home.
Okay.
Cool. So let's do one at a time. So Why I Love You, vocal.
I did not get to this week. Last 2 weeks, because I ended up creating something new in its place.
Cool.
And in creating that new song, that actually woke my voice up, right? Because the song is actually it's an R&B neo soul type song, which I absolutely, I love it. But it woke my voice up, nice. And so now I can probably get back to doing Why I Love You.
Okay.
Because my voice is finally pretty much woken up now. So.
Okay, great. So you'll do this next coming round.
Yeah. And the new song, I'm gonna finish mixing it. It's uploaded, but I haven't completed the master on it. But it's uploaded to sample. But yeah, it's called Natural High. It's
nice.
I love that song. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, number 2. As the Music Plays, the vocal.
As the music plays, there is a hook laid on that.
Sweet.
On that hook, I wrote the strings. The strings is the driving force behind the hook.
Okay.
and then I'll go ahead and I'll try and write the verses to that next. But yeah, I did the hook to that.
Okay, and I think you sent me a link for that, right?
I believe so.
So let me go ahead and play a minute or so of that.
Yeah, and it comes in after the hook comes in right at the beginning I think it comes in when the beat drops.
Okay. All right, let me go ahead and switch this over, and let's take a listen.
I think it does.
Turn your bad day into a brighter day. Let the music penetrate you all up in your veins, and the heartbeat of the kick drum drive you sane. As the music plays, just let the music play. It can turn your bad day into a brighter day. Let the music penetrate you all up in your veins, and the heartbeat of the kick drum drive you sane. As the music plays.
Very cool. Oh, that sounded really nice. That sounded nice and thick.
Yeah.
Nice. So how many vocals are on there?
That is 6.
6. Nice. So you have 3 on the left, 3 on the right, or?
It's okay. So the way I do this, like, of course, it's my voice in 2 different tones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the main is center, left, right. But I'm sorry, the way I did it was it's center, then left 60, then right 30, and then on the other tone, it's the center's brought down, then it's right 60, left 30.
Okay, cool.
What it does is it creates it to where it's like you have people on either side of you. It's not just like one on this side, one on that side. It's both. They're blended that way together.
Love it. That's awesome. That's
very
catchy, dude.
That's an old Berklee trick, let me tell you.
Sorry?
That's an old Berklee trick. We're panning.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, we need to start doing this. Every time we mention Berklee, we got to take a drink.
Oh, damn, man. Damn. Okay, I got some coffee right here. So yeah.
There you go. Every time.
All right, cool. Because you know it's going to happen now every week now. So
eventually we'll graduate to shots. But
this is what I'm saying.
All right, cool. Sweet. No, that sounded really cool. Really, really good.
Sweet.
I love the syncopation to the vocal.
Yeah, because it's the strings that drive it, right? And so it's like
it is. But then you got your vocals doing something a little different, and you're just like, okay, it's like a juxtapose sort of thing. It's groovy.
Yep.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right, sweet. Awesome. So on that one, I assume you're going to continue the.
I'm going to continue that
vocal, right?
Yep. I'm going to add the verses to that when I'm in the writing phase for the verses. So
you're currently writing the lyric.
The lyrics, yeah, the verses.
Right now,
that one's going to be a little bit. It's going to be fun because I'm going to be speaking pretty fast because I'm going to be riding the strings and the hi-hat, right? Because it's that driving groove in the song, right? So it's like the whole song's going to keep moving like that the whole way through.
Got it. Nice.
So yeah, it's going to take a minute, but it's
that's cool. A minute well spent. Okay, moving on to home.
Yes. Home has a hook laid on that one. Home is another one that I think you would really like.
Okay.
That one has, well, you'll hear the hook because it comes in after the first 8 bar, because the first verse is only 8 bars and then the hook comes right in. So yeah, I think you'll like that one.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and listen to that one. Let me share the screen on that as well. And here we go. Nice. Wow, that's beautiful. Is that the Berklee trick there too?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Yeah. So that actually is 16 tracks for the hook. There's 16 voices.
16 voices? Wow, really?
There are 4 voices that are distorted. You can hear it. I'm always coming home to you. There's 4 of them that are distorted, and then there's 4 of them that are normal.
Okay.
I added the distortion because I wanted that rock feel to it. So it's massively distorted. So it's all fuzzed out. And then I have, then there's 12 tracks that's just all normal vocals. But yeah, it's all me. So it's
Nice.
It's 16. And yeah,
wow, that sounds
there.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I love it because it's like comes in very ethereal, right? Which is not really your style from what I heard. Which like, okay, this is different, which is great. I love that. So that's really cool. So again, I assume you're working on the lyric for this as well right now?
Yeah, that one, the first verse is written. I'm going to lay that probably today or tomorrow.
Nice.
But the song is very, very, it's talking about different scenarios about just coming home, right? And so that's why the song is called Home. So
got it.
I want it to be really, really powerful.
Nice. No, it's awesome, dude. Sounds beautiful. I can't wait to hear that one too. Sweet. Great. Beautiful. So those are the 3 things that you had for last week.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Take a bow. Instead, take a drink. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm almost out of coffee, but yeah.
Oh, I've been working on my collection.
I know. I see that back there. I see you over there.
And the crazy thing is, I'm not much of a drinker, but I'm like in the middle of learning about how stupid is this now? I'm in the middle of learning how to drink.
Right. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny because recently I got a job as a bartender, which I have no business being a bartender, really. But they needed one, so I'm like, okay, fine. But I had to like learn on the job. For the first 2 weeks, I was sweating bullets, and I'm like, get me this, get me that. I'm like, what's in that drink? And literally, I just had to learn by fire, like trial,
like sink or swim
all the way. Yeah. And there's certain alcohols that I'm like doing, and everyone's like, oh, these are actually really good. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you like them, that you're not sending them back. So that's a plus. But the funny thing is that I have no idea what that tastes like because I've never tried that drink or that alcohol.
Okay. Yeah.
So then it started dawning on me. I'm like, crap, maybe I should start like, tasting this stuff, try to figure out what I'm doing, right? And that's what started it. And then here I am with all this sort of craziness over here. But anyway.
Hey, you gotta do it though.
Yeah. I digress.
You gotta do it, man.
All right. So let's get to my homework real quick. So I had 4 things on my list. So let me list those. Jazz vocal demo reel. Continue with Dancing with Devils. My BBC template from our orchestral template in Cubase. And write a new song or start writing a song. I think I was going to do like a demo thing, if I remember that I was going to do. So let me go. Man, I cannot get rid of this cough.
Post-COVID, I understand how it is.
Seriously, it sucks. It really sucks.
I was there. I know how it is.
My apologies for all the coughing, but yeah, it just sneaks up on me. Okay, so jazz vocal demo reel. Almost done. I got one more. So I actually did 3 of them. And I'm like, you know what? I think I want to do one more, right? Okay. So I'm going to play for you right now one of them. And you let me know what you think. It's only like a minute or so, I think.
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let me share that. And this is from the classic, I don't know, 1950s song, Witchcraft.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and share this with you here. And let's go ahead and play that. Here we go.
Those fingers in your hair that slide, come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft. And I've got no defense for it. The heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says, yes, indeed, in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to.
Dude, I like that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm still like...
I got like my Kroner thing going right there, right?
I could actually see him like dance too. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so then I did like a verse chorus, and I'm going to be doing the same thing with the other ones. I think I did Mona Lisa, Witchcraft, which you just heard. What was the other one I was doing? I've Got You Under My Skin.
Yeah.
And then Feeling Good. I think that was the other one, Feeling Good. So the idea is I'm recording, like a minute and a half or whatever, but then I'm going to put them together in a demo reel, which the whole thing should only last like maybe 2.5 minutes, something like that, with all snippets of all 4 sort of a thing.
Nice.
So I'm just recording the full lengths, and then I'll snip them down and blend them all together, running into one another.
Nice.
So that's the idea there. So yeah, so I got that. And so like I said, I've got one more, and then I'll do my blend, and then I'll be ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
And, hopefully that will get me some more session work vocally.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Continue Dancing with Devils, my second one. I did not get to that. I just flat out, I just did not get to that period. So that's something I definitely have to get back on for that.
I feel you.
Number 3, BBC template. I did get to that, and I did a lot of work on that. And I finished all of my strings. The whole string section is done.
Nice.
And we're talking All string patches with all articulations are in.
Okay.
In addition to that, all string patches and all articulations have their delay compensation already set. So I literally went through every single one individually and made sure that every single one is landing right where it should be,
Good.
depending on the BPM sort of thing. And then all of them are now, because some patches, like Flotando, for example, are very, very, very low, that you almost have to bump it up a little bit just so it's audible, right? So I had to bump those up. And then there's some, like, let's say a Bartok pizzicato, that are super loud. They just pop in there, right? And you kind of have to bring them down a little bit so that everything kind of like sits within a certain area. And then once you balance it out to audio, at least it's within, a certain range.
Yeah, you want it in a pocket somewhere before you move it over.
Exactly.
And then you mix it on the other side.
Right. Not that everything has to fit in within a small dynamic range, but some sort of pocket so that it's not anything crazy.
It's the same thing. Like when I do Beats and Machine, it's like inside Machine, the sequencer is all out of whack. But at least now when I send it over, I can then do what I need to do. Right. So
exactly. And then each instrument gets to its own bus or its own group track in Cubase, and then a little bit of compression on there. So again, everything sits nice and evenly, stuff like that. So a lot of tweaking, a lot of automation for what I'm calling for right now. And so the string section is done. So now I got to move on to the brass section, then the woodwinds, and then finally the percussion.
Okay.
Sort of a situation. So then that thing will be really complete. But we're talking lots of hours on this template, lots of hours. But hopefully it'll all be worth it, because once it's all done, I just write something and everything. It's almost ready to just export, right? And then that just saves me a ton of time later on. So
you spend time in the setup process, and so it lets your workflow be a lot more smoother.
Totally. And then you don't have to worry about all that sort of stuff. You just worry about the writing process. If you've got something to turn in on, a particular deadline, it just helps you with time management a ton. You already know where to export, where from, audio, let's go. Have a nice day. I'm going to the beach. So sort of situation. So that's the goal. All right. So then I worked on that, but there's still more work to be done. And then my number 4 is write a new song. So I went ahead and created this new chord progression. I think there's a melody in there. So let me play about a minute or so of that. And here's the demo for that. Into the next into the next section. So that's kind of like,
Nice.
and maybe I shouldn't even call that a demo by today's standards. That's more like a sketch, if that makes any sense. You know, you can hear that things aren't quantized and there's a little bumps here and there, but just getting the
like the
idea of the song out.
I like one thing I really love. I mean, it's like if once you iron out all the nuances in the song, right? And if you're able to just like, yeah, of course stay on beat, but like free flow play it, I think it'll sound like more natural and it'll be like a lot more beautiful than it's actually quantized, because it's like so much, you don't want it to be so digital in a way to where it's like right on beat on everything, right? It's like, nah, if it's like a little bit after one, it can be a little bit after one, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but it sounds like more natural.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely.
Sounds great though.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I like the melody. I don't even have a title for it quite yet, or lyrics, but that's the next step. But yeah, I do. I think it has potential to becoming a pretty song.
No, yeah, it actually does. You know, yeah,
totally. So on that, you know, I do a little trick, and I don't know if you do this. So when you said to make it sound a little bit more natural, so it's not so quantized or whatever like that. So a lot of my producer buddies that I've worked with or collaborated with, let's say the song is at 100 BPM, let's just say. So their whole song is at 100 BPM. Now, when it's you know, like a beat song, a groove song, like a hip hop or something, that's good to keep it all like 100, the whole thing. But if it's something like this song right here, where you have a little bit of motion, a little bit of movement, you know, it's a little bit more emotional in that sense. What I love to do as a trick is that in my tempo map, and I do this in Cubase, I'm sure you can probably do it in Pro Tools as well. Like I might actually start it like at, you know, taking 100 as our baseline. You know, maybe I'm starting it at like 97, right? And then once I get to the chorus, maybe it does get to that 100. And then after the chorus, maybe now it drops down to 98.
Yeah.
Not 97, but 98. And then we get to the chorus again, and maybe again we get back to the 100. And I feel like that gives a little bit of emotion, gives a little bit more realism in that sense, because we're using, you know, MIDI instruments and everything is just very, like you said, very, you know,
it's very digital.
That's it. That's the word you use. So
even though the sounds we're using are analog, but the way that they're imprinted is all digital. So it's by a clock. It's a beat clock. That's literally what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like using that trick from time to time, depending on the song. You can't do that on every song, but depending on some songs, it's probably a good thing to do. Because once you get to the chorus, there's that uplift of like maybe 1 to 2 BPM, and you don't really notice it, but you feel it, right? You feel that emergence, if you will, right? And I feel that trick really works well, and that would work really well on this song that I just played.
No, you can definitely do that in Pro Tools. It's like, it's just creating, because anytime you create something, you know, the rulers are all at the top, right? So you have, when it comes to MIDI, you have your key signature, and the key signature doesn't really affect it. It affects how in Pro Tools, when you set the key there, it just affects how the score is printed, right?
Okay.
Your playing does not change unless you go into the MIDI section. You right click on the MIDI, you go to operations, and you say go up a half a step or go up a full step, like do a key change. You have to do it on the actual MIDI itself. But in the ruler, you can set, you know, your time signature, your tempo, and all that, right? It's all at the ruler at the top. So yeah, you can most definitely start like here and change it like over here, and even go from like 4/4 to cut time, which is like 2/4, and then go back to 4/4 because of how you want your timing to be for, like, you know. So yeah, you can most definitely do that. It's just set markers there.
It's pretty cool. It's really, I love how how we're able to do that. I think it's
Yeah.
just a smart way to make it
Oh
that
yeah.
more real, you know?
Oh yeah, because see, in that new song that I did, it's like there's like usually like you have like claps or your snares are usually like on 2 and 4.
Right.
Well, there's this one clap that I created where it has like the clap is actually a lingering sound from where it starts. So you may like actually hit like the clap on 2, but it does it at 2 and you're like, wait, what? Right? So you have to literally slide it back.
Right.
When you hit it, the clap happens on 2, but yet you have to play it beforehand.
That's
right?
the delay
So,
compensation right there.
exactly. So I get it, man. I love being off like that. It
Nice.
creates a new dynamic.
Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. So for this round, did you have any roadblocks?
I wouldn't call it Roblox per se. I had epiphanies. I would say that.
Epiphany. Share one.
Yeah. Like for instance, my project, my album is now going into a new direction. I'm still keeping my original concept, but now it has split off into a brand new project
Okay.
because of the music that's being created and
Nice.
because of the success of Rise. That is literally making me take it, like split the actual album up to have where
Nice.
own project out of it. And it's something. And once I made that decision, it all made sense after that. Right? It all made sense. 'Cause I was fighting for the past 4 weeks, man, going, I don't know how I'm going to get this done because it's like I'm creating this type of sound, but I have all these sounds in my head wanting to come out, right? And it's not focused on the way my original album was supposed to sound.
Okay.
So now that I'm like, you know what? And then I saw the success at Rise. I'm almost at 50,000 plays for Rise right
Awesome, dude. That was my next question. That's great. Congratulations.
now. And I'm at,
when did it come out?
it came out a few weeks ago.
3 weeks?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
And you're at 50,000 plays.
I'm
That's
at
amazing,
50,000
dude.
plays right now. And the last 7 days, I'm at 17,000 for the last 7 days.
That's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
31,000 streams all time for this song. So I'm at almost.
Now,
at-
what streaming service are we talking?
This is at Spotify only.
Spotify only. Got it.
Yeah, Apple
awesome.
Music. I think I'm at like 10,000 on Apple Music.
Jeez, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's like when that success, it's like I'm like, okay, this is now split into two.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's cool though.
So yeah.
Wonderful, yeah.
So yeah, no blockers, just an epiphany.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
What about you?
Me roadblocks, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, we had some difficulties family wise, and then I had this wedding that I had to shoot in Idaho, so that was a little bit of a shift in my time. And so I'd say those were probably the biggest roadblocks this particular
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So now that I'm in my element again, hopefully I won't have as many. So
yeah, I mean, once you get back, man, it's like you're back at it.
Yep.
You're back where you need to be. Now I can focus and get back to it.
And speaking of the next round, let's go ahead and assign our homework for next week. So go for it. You're up.
I'm going to finish this new song. I'm going to finish Natural. It's called Natural High. I'm going to finish it. And what I mean by finish it.
And finish the production. Finish what?
No, finish the mastering. It is.
Okay, mastering. So it will be complete 100%.
Complete 100%.
Okay, I look forward to listening to that.
Yeah, man. I think you'll like it. And I also want to finish Home. I want to finish Home.
Same way, finish mastering?
No, I want to record. I want to record Home now, and I'm going to attempt to finish it. So you know what? Yeah, put finish Home. Put finish it. I want to finish Home. That means I'm going to record it, mix it and master it.
Okay.
All that.
So I'll put that in there. So finish mastering there as well.
Yeah.
So that's 2 things. Is there a third, or is that enough?
Yeah, and I want to write, and I'm not going to put as the music plays yet, but I want to write a whole new song. I want to write a new song.
Write new song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a song in my head, and I know it needs to come out. So, yeah.
That's good.
Song.
Sounds good. Cool. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's great. That's plenty, in my opinion. Plenty. Okay, so number 1 for me is complete the jazz actual reel.
Mm-hmm.
And have it all just done. Ready to upload onto Air Gigs or wherever I'm going to put it, and it's just done. So that'll be behind me. That's number 1. And number 2, continue with my BBC template. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be working on I think I'm working on the brass. So that's the goal there. Let's see, continue writing this. I'm going to continue writing this song that I played for you. This song that I just played. So we're talking about hopefully lyrics, melodies for the most part, kind of there. But we'll talk about lyrics and title as well. And I'm going to see if I can continue with that Dancing with Devils.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Dancing with Devils. And I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to try anyway. There's this other song that I've been working on called Around the Moon. It's kind of like a rock, groovy sort of a thing. And I need to come up with the melody as well as some lyrics. I think I have to shift around the structure a little bit here and there. I've recorded already live drums and guitar on it, sort of a situation. I like it a lot. I think it would be a really good song, but I want to try to do that. So I'm going to attempt to do 5 things this week, but we'll see how it goes.
See how they go.
Totally. Cool, pal. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much our time for today. We didn't get to doing our what we selected musically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but I think we're going to pick it up for next week. So
Yeah,
go ahead so go ahead and send me a new song to listen to. I'll do the same, and then we'll go ahead and pick that up next week.
Cool.
And then we'll do that. Sound good?
I'm good, man.
Sounds good. All right, pal. Cheers.
All right, man.
Have a great week. We will talk later on.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. And all the best with your recording. Everything's sounding great, man. Really great.
Yeah, man. It's you too, dude. So
Thank you.
let's keep pushing, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, just keep pushing. Just keep moving forward, man.
Got to, man. You
Got to. All right, pal. We'll see you later.
All right, man. Sounds
All
good.
right. Take care. Bye.